G'day guys, Morezy here. In front of me is the TNT Pump version 2. It is a lot smaller and it's got a few little tweaks, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build it. Okay, I'm here at my stripped down version of the TNT Pump. No frills, just the bare minimum, and I'll just show you again how it works. So I've got some guinea pigs over here. Now this would be filled up by a mob spawner of some description. In my design I use the piston pusher system into 3 channels, but you could use this however your mobs are spawned. You can just put them within this area and they'll get damaged by the TNT. I've hit them with some poison so they'll get down to half a heart, and I know I've got one piece of TNT left in my system. My lights are all empty, so it means it's the last one. And I'll push this button here, and we'll set it off with a flint and steel so we get the XP. Okay, let's kill the creepers, get my XP, and now when I try and push it again, it goes, no, can't do that because it's empty. So now I need to fill it back up again. I'll get some TNT on my bar. I flick this switch here and it turns on the pump head. It's going to be a little bit noisy, but hopefully it should be okay. Now all I do is just hold down right click and just feed the TNT in. You hear the little note blocks play as it fills up each row. Sometimes it jams, you just break it and start again. Fill that up. Okay, now they stopped working. That means that it is full, and you can see by the lights that it's full. So I'll turn that off, and I hit this again, and that closes up. The light turns off because it's no longer full, and I've got a new piece here ready to use. Okay, so next I'm going to show you some of the components that go into making this. There is a lot of wiring in it, but there's a few key components that really make this thing work well. So I'm going to show you those now. Okay, the first piece of the puzzle is the vertical bud piston pusher. This is the first part you build when you build this thing. Basically this is the guy that will push the TNT up. It's also the reason why these need to be built east-west, because of this configuration here. It only works east-west. You can actually do it different directions, but it screws the timing up, so it's easier just to do it east-west. All it is a sticky piston, a redstone block, a repeater there, up to the top, and then when the redstone block comes out over the top of this wire, it powers this one, which pushes the block up. Okay, next is the pulse advance mechanism. It's pretty simple. All it does is power these pistons, which will push the blocks one at a time per pulse, and I'll demonstrate that. I'll get my TNT out, I'll fill this up, and push this button here, and it moves the row by 1. You can see it just pushes 1 at a time. This obviously connects to the bud pusher. This sits at the end of this guy, and as it gets pushed in, it'll then shoot it up. Okay, this is the cycling TNT storage bank. This is where all the TNT gets held while it's pumped in. Again, this is pretty simple. There's nothing new here really, but I just thought I'd show you how it works anyway. So we've got sticky pistons on the bottom and some sand here. When this is full of TNT and we push the button, it lifts it up by 1 block, and again again. The last time it pushes it up by one block that way, and when it's done it pushes this and the sand is reset to a new position. So when this is full of TNT, it feeds up into that. Okay, this is the part that I call the pump head. It's very simple. This is what will suck in the TNT when you're empty. All it is, comparator clock with a 1 tick delay, 2 tick delay to this piston, and it's just a sticky piston here, a regular piston there. And this is how it works. Just sucks it down. Okay, this is the variable speed piston tape. This is used in conjunction with the pump head, and when TNT is fed into it, these pistons push it down and into the storage bank. So all it is very simple. I'm sure it's been done before. Just a comparator clock with no delays, and it just does this, and you can see them cycling. Now a regular piston tape using repeaters and timers might clog up, whereas this guy won't. So I'll just break this block here, and you can see it's going a lot faster now because it's able to. I'll break it one more time. Now the ring isn't going faster, but the pistons are going their maximum speed. So what does this mean? Basically it means that when the pump head is going and I'm feeding TNT in really fast, these guys won't jam up because they can just keep pushing. So if I fill that up, it won't jam. It just keeps going. Okay, this is the last piece I want to show, which is the last pulse limiter with the reset. This is the failsafe to stop people from accidentally removing too many items from the hopper when there's no TNT left. This guy here is the input, and when you hit the input, the signal continues through to the system. This note block is signifying the system for the TNT pump. Now when your TNT gets low, we don't want people pushing this too many times and screwing up the hopper counting system. So over here, this block is powered when there's TNT and unpowered when there's no TNT. And what that does is when you press this the next time, you get one last pulse and then it stops. So now you can't pulse it any further. So that basically allows the player to just use the last piece in TNT, and then it stops the counter so no mistakes can be made. Now when the TNT is filled back up, this block gets repowered, which I've shown with this lever, and as you can see, this guy here resets the block into its proper position to continue dispensing TNT. Okay, here's the finished product, and we're going to be building this step by step. I'm going to put some quick links in the description so you can skip steps if you want, or go back to them if you need to. Alright, let's get started. Okay, let's start to build this thing. Now I'm going to go quickly, but I'll try and make sure it's not too quick that you can't follow. It is going to be a sort of a large build, but hopefully the way I'm doing it you'll be able to follow quite easily. Alright, so first thing is we've got to check the direction we're facing. So the F coordinate on the left there is east, or the F direction is 3. That is important. This particular system needs to face that direction to work properly. And first thing we're going to do is put a piston here. Now I've just lifted it off the ground by a couple of blocks so I don't run into the ground down here. So first is a piston there, block here, block there, and one there, and we just cut those out there. And then we put redstone here, here, and here. Next we put a sticky piston. Now the sticky piston is facing east, as you can see. That's important. And redstone block there, and another block there. Make this shape here. we put a repeater inside here facing that way, and dust there, and that should work now. Yep, so that's cool. Next we'll build the pulse advance mechanism onto the end of this, and we'll get to that now. Okay, so the pulse advance mechanism is next. We'll start by putting a block of obsidian here, and we'll do a row here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next we'll put some sticky pistons up. So sticky piston facing that way, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's one past the obsidian here. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 regular pistons. Get rid of that now. And we'll put some blocks on top here. And on top of that we'll put redstone. And let's just give that a quick test. Cool. Okay, now we're going to start the TNT storage bank, and we're going to start by putting a block here, one in from the end there, and we'll put piston facing that way, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'll do 3 rows of that. Like that. Remove that block, and we'll come around here and do a line across the top. And then we'll come out 1 and do a line across there, and then we'll come out 1 again and do 2 lines like this, so it makes a little staircase. We'll run through here and put torches, and repeaters here with no delay, redstone. And the last one, we'll put a torch here. Okay, that's that side. Now we'll go down 2 blocks, put sticky piston, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sticky pistons, and then we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. Okay, we'll put some glass on top of them, and another block set here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'll put some pistons facing this way. 3, 4, 5, 6. Next we're going to put some obsidian behind them, and we'll put an obsidian right there as well, like that. Put some redstone down here, and we'll just put that there, and we'll put some redstone along here as well. Okay, now that's done, we've got most of the machinery done. This is obviously where the TNT will sit. These guys here will push the TNT up, and this section will push the TNT this way, and this one will push it up again. So now we've got to do some circuitry and logic. It's pretty simple stuff, but it gets quite tight in here, so just pay attention. First off, we're going to go 2 blocks here next to this obsidian, and go 2 blocks across as well. We'll put a block there and a block there. Get rid of that one. Torch, torch, and here's where the hoppers are going to go. So hopper there. Now it's important these hoppers face each other, so shift click into that one, and then shift click into that one. Now they'll face each other. We won't put any items in there at the moment, just to keep it simple for now. Okay, we want to remove this block here now, and put one underneath like that, and then we want to also put a block underneath and there like that. This is for the comparators, one there, and I'll do this one there. Alright, next we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks there, just with that small bend in it. Here we actually want to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we'll put 1 here. We'll go redstone and redstone, and we'll also put some redstone here. Now they join up, we don't want that to join up, so we'll put a block there as well. Okay, now we've got the hoppers set up, we're going to work with the outputs. So on this side we're going to put blocks here and repeaters there, and this is going to be the output for any indicator lights that you want to use to show how much TNT is left in the system. It's optional, this bit, but I think it's a nice touch, and I'll work on that later when we've finished more of this. Around this side here is going to be the output for making the mechanism move, and first off we're just going to put some torches here. Now these torches are going to be used to not only push the TNT up for each new piece, but also when it's empty, this line is going to be used to fill the TNT back up again. Next is going to be the mechanism that pushes the TNT rows up as we use them, and we're going to start by making a row here, 4 across. Here we're going to put sticky pistons, and here we're going to put repeaters, some blocks on top here, and a row there. Repeaters here, these need to be all set to 2 ticks, and line of redstone there. Now we're going to put the extra bits of line in here to connect to this sand pushing section. Now at the moment this connects here, we don't want that to happen, so we're going to put a block there because we need some delay here. So we're going to put 2 blocks there, a repeater here, set that to 4, and then a piece of redstone there. So now this section is delayed by 4 ticks. Now to do it properly, to make the pushing system work, these here need to be 2 ticks in front of these. So we've got 4 ticks here for this row, so we need 2 ticks for the other. So we're going to come down here and just do a little step down, and we're going to turn the corner like that, and then down here we're going to have 3 blocks like that. There's going to be a repeater here which is set to 2, and some redstone dust there. Alright, that's that part. Now we need to revisit this little guy here, and all we're going to do is put 2 blocks out like that, and then we'll start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks there, and we'll put some redstone there. Now if you've done this correctly, you should have 2 blocks here and then the repeaters facing into the 3rd block. Okay, so at the moment we have this magenta side. This controls the TNT being dispensed, so when we push the button 6 times, one of these pistons will fire, which will push the whole row up 1 to refill this section. Now what we need to make is actually the opposite, so that when we're filling the TNT up, it can push the TNT up into its storage area. So to do that, we're going to use some sticky pistons here, 1, 2, 3, 4, redstone blocks, and we're going to come down one and put in some repeaters here. 2, 3, 4. So we'll put some repeaters here, and we'll put some sticky pistons here, and we'll also put 2 rows here, and on those 2 rows we'll put repeaters here. Now all these need to be set to 2, so we'll set those to 2, and the last little guy here wants 1 extra, and we'll set that to 2 as well. We'll put some redstone in here, and we'll just fill up this with some blocks like that. Okay, back to the magenta section. Now at the moment these pistons here will facilitate the TNT being pushed up to a certain degree. It does that by pushing sand underneath it and pushing the sand up. It will get to a point where the sand is all stacked up here, and that's where we want to return it back to its original position, which is over here. So to do that we need to fire this piston wall, and that's what this bit's going to be now. So we've got 5 torches here, 4 of which are for these pistons. The last one needs to come off the bottom here, and we'll go to about there. And then over here where we made this torch on this yellow section, the torch we need to go off the back of that. So we'll go over there like that. Now we need to put a repeater here, set it to 2, and some redstone up along here. We also need a sticky piston in here, facing up, and there's a little gap here nicely for it, and a block on top, and then all we have to do is put redstone wire here. Now when I put this last piece here, it will be directly under this torch, and you'll see that this wall will fire. There we go. So at the moment there's nothing in the hoppers, so the system thinks it's empty, hence why it pushed the sand, because as far as it was concerned the sand was stacked up against here and it needed to push it back, so it did that, so that's good. Alright, we're going pretty well here. Next we're going to have the input, so this is the button that you push to make the whole system work. We're going to start by putting a block here and a piston there, block on top, a repeater, set it to 2, repeater here, just set to 1 is fine. Then we're just going to run this line up here a little bit. This is going to be where the button connects to. We're not going to do that right now. Next we want to build the limiter section, so if we put a block here and 1 on top like that, we'll put a sticky piston here and a repeater there, just with 1 tick. Down here, this is the reset, we'll put a block there like that, and a repeater facing in, just 1 tick again, another sticky piston there, block on top of him, and 1 more repeater here set to 4. Next we're going to have a block there, and we're going to put a torch here and a torch there. And you can see that actually worked then. I'm just going to put a button here. Okay, so at the moment that's powered, so that's in the state that it would be if the TNT is available to push. And when we do that, that's cool. And if I just put a lever here, we can just demonstrate this. So if this block gets powered, this retracts, and now the next time we push it, we get 1 push, and no more. Okay, small addition to this part. Now that we've got that made, we need to let it interface with the hopper here. Now the hopper that we did before, this line will light up when the TNT is emptying, being fully lit up at the end when the TNT is completely empty. So we need to use that signal to enable this system so that you only have 1 more pulse left, and that way it doesn't accidentally take too much out of this counter. So to do that, we're just going to put a block here. Now when the hopper is empty, technically when the hopper's full, which means there's no TNT left, the signal will only go so far. So we need to put a block on top here like this. That is the extent of the signal. We can't go any further, so we need to extend that a little bit. So we'll do that with some repeaters here. And we'll go set that to guide 4, that one to 2, and then a piece of redstone there. Now they're connected so that when this completely fills up, this torch will be disabled, which will enable this to only let one more pulse go through before it retracts and stops any accidental pushes when the TNT is empty. Okay, with this last addition we're actually ready to test this to make sure it's working okay. It will only do the dispensing of TNT so far. We haven't set up the refill part of it yet, but we can at least test it to make sure it's working the way it should. So first thing to do is fill up this area with sand, which I've done. It's just 3 high and all the way to the end here. And then we're going to put some blocks in here to represent the TNT, and we're going to use lapis. I don't want to use TNT just in case I've made a mistake and it blows up, and that would suck. So here's 5 high. We're going to do 6 across, so we're going to fill this right up. Like that. Over here we'll go 1, 2. Now in my design, that's how I've got it set up. This equals 32 blocks of TNT, which is half a stack, which I think is a nice round number. However, in my current design with the piston pusher over there, where the mobs actually fall to, some of this redstone is just in the way a little bit for the hoppers underneath, and I want to make sure I use those, so I'll actually be making mine 3 blocks high here. So it'll be half a stack plus 1 block to fill this up. I'm going to put some slabs here. Now they need to be just 1/2 slab higher than the top of this block. So we'll just put this around here, and that way I can put hoppers under here and they won't get in the way with this redstone. So that's going to be the base that will be standing on, and where the mobs will be to kill them. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Next we want to fill up these hoppers to be ready to count with. So on the left here I've put 22 blocks of snow. It can be anything, but it just has to stack up to 64. So we'll put 22 blocks of that there. On this side we'll put 18 blocks of snow and 16 ender pearls and 14 ender pearls. So these ender pearls are what actually count the TNT. So you might actually notice there's 30 altogether. The snow actually doesn't move. All that's doing is making this comparator output the correct signal to begin with, so that when it's empty it's outputting the correct signal. And the same with this 22 snow here, that just outputs the correct signal. You can see it's just doing one block here just to make sure it's right. Alright, so I think we're ready to have a go. So what I'm going to do is come around here, and I'm going to put a button on this line, and all things going well, I'm going to push the button. Okay, a block came up, which is good. Now what we're going to do here is knock out some of these, and we're going to go through the whole row, and hopefully it will fire. Okay, so this one, it should fire the piston down the bottom and fire the sand across, so that it lifts the whole row up 1. Let's have a look. Yes, it did, which is good. Okay, here we are. I've gone through to the last row. You can see all the sand has been used up, so it's all sitting on that side now. This is the final row. Now there's 6 pieces in here, so if we check the hopper around the side here, there's 6 ender pearls left. So now we're going to test out this limiter system to make sure that works. So I'm going to push the rest of these up. Now here you might notice This is where the piston wall will fire to reset the sand. So let's hope that works. Yep, that worked. That's good. Now the limiter system is enabled. You can see these torches are off now. So, and I have visibly one more piece in the system, and I'll have one more ender pearl left to use. So let's hit the button, and that worked. This block was retracted, so now if I push it, nothing will happen. And that's good because now that all the TNT is gone, all the ender pearls are gone too, and if I was still able to push the button, that snow would start to leave as well, and it would screw the whole system up. So far I'm happy, it's working, so let's continue on. Okay, here I just extended this platform out a little bit. We dropped down a set of stairs here just to put the controls on. Now you don't have to drop down like this, I'm just doing it because I sort of like it that way at the moment. Now we need to move this button over to this section here, so what we're going to do is put a block there and just work our way up like that. And then a button goes there, and we'll get rid of that. Okay, so now we'll just make sure it works. Yep. So the signal just goes down there, it's picked up by that repeater, and we might actually put this a little closer up. There we go. Alright, time to start on the input side of this machine. This is going to be the pump head, so we're going to put a block there. Now that's where the TNT is going to be placed to be sucked up, and we're going to make this 5 wide, and we're going to come out 2, and then fill that in there and come out there. We're going to put a block here and a sticky piston in the back, and then we're going to have a regular piston facing down like that. Next we've got to put a repeater here on 2, and another repeater facing this way on no delay, and a comparator there, and then a wire leading back to this block where we'll put a lever, and we'll put a button on this block over here. So now that should work. We'll just check that. That should work now. And if we start putting blocks in, you can see that they get pushed down. Now sometimes when the blocks are being pushed down very fast, it's not that this machine will clog up, it's that it needs time to wait for this to extend and retract to fill up the next row with TNT. Sometimes when it does that, a block gets stuck here like you saw before, and it may want to push these blocks out here. Now we don't really want that to happen, so I'm just going to put an obsidian block here so that it can't do that. I'm going to put it in this place here. Oh. And then that way I can just close it up and make it look nice. Like that. So now if this does jam at all, it can't push this out of the way. Alright, here we're going to add one more little bit. We're just going to have a sticky piston here and a redstone block there. Then we're going to put a sticky piston here. Oh, let's do it this way. There. And that is going to close up that hole when it's not being used. So let's just put a little bit of redstone here. Okay, cool. Now we've got that pump head all set up, we can make the bud detector that will detect as the TNT is fed down. It will detect how many pieces have been fed in, and it will alter these hoppers accordingly so that we know exactly how much TNT we have. So to do that, I'm just going to go up to here. I'm just going to turn this on for a moment, and I'm going to throw in 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and at the bottom here, that's where we want to start our bud detector. So we're going to put a sticky piston here and a redstone block, and we're just going to make a little bud switch, very similar to like what we did at the start. And redstone up here. So that is now a bud switch, which is cool. So every time we pump a piece of TNT in, that bud switch fires. Now we want to collect that signal, and we want to take it to the hoppers. So we'll remove that there. We'll go up 3 so we're not in the way of this stuff. We'll then put a repeater, and we'll put a sticky piston with a block on top, and then another repeater set to 2. Now here is where these guys run, so we don't want to interfere with this at all, so we're just going to go up 1 higher, and we're going to go across here and in line with this to there. Now the redstone's going to actually go from here all the way around to there. So at the moment all the ender pearls are in this side, so as far as the system is concerned it is empty, and as that bud switch fires, an ender pearl will go from this hopper into this one, signifying that it's starting to fill up, and that'll help us out with counting. So now we've got the bud switch hooked up. I'm actually going to disable it, just because while we're working around here I don't want it to interfere with these hoppers, because that will make these pistons fire and it will just be annoying. So I've just disabled it there for the moment, and now we're going to make the variable speed piston tape section, which is going to accept the TNT and then push it down along here and fill up each row. So let's do that. You're going to start by just feeding a bunch of blocks into this just to see where they go. That should do. Okay, so we can see that the blocks come down here. Now we need to go across here and into there. So if we want to do that, we need to put a piston here. It needs to be facing in that way. And we also need to put another piston over here facing that way, which pushes that way. Now this is a good example. If this is in the process of filling up and you're still putting TNT in, we don't want this to happen, where this one's waiting for the TNT to be pushed up so it can continue pushing, and this one is stalled, so this will just keep pushing straight down. So to avoid that, we'll get some obsidian, and we'll just put some obsidian there, and also we'll do the same here. So now if this is waiting, that means all of them are waiting, so that way it won't shoot past here and cause problems. Next we need to make the comparator clock to run these. To do that, we've already got half of it sitting here. This piece here is actually just an extension of this switch, so by using this redstone block we can actually make a comparator clock that fires at the same time as the switch is on. So we'll just do that. Now here we'll actually need to use some slabs just for this piece and for this piece. And now what we're going to do is put a comparator there and set it to subtract, and then we're going to put a block here and then some redstone in there and there. Now when that is powered, I'll just disable this quickly. You can see that this guy is flashing around. That's good. And now we're going to take the signal under here and we're going to go down to this block and we're going to go the other way. Like that. Now when I connect this, it should start, yeah, see it starts pushing. You can see it's already pushed 2 pieces in there. Alright, so we'll turn this back off and connect that back up again. Okay guys, we're getting there. At the moment we have it to the point where you can actually fill this up now and it will count it. However, the way it is at the moment, there is still the possibility that it could be broken by accident, by either not stopping when you're supposed to, or a few things could go wrong. So we want to put in a few fail safes to prevent any damage happening to this system so we don't have to come in and repair it. Here what I've done is I've actually swapped the ender pearls from this side over to this side, and that basically tells the machine that it is now full of TNT, even though clearly it isn't. But this line lights up and we want to take the last block of signal here and turn off these pistons. So what we'll do is we'll actually use a slab here and we'll put the slab like that, and then the redstone will come up there and you can see that's on. So this block will only ever be on when the system is completely full, and we want to carry this signal out. So we're going to put a repeater here and a block there, and then we put the block up there because there's a piston straight under it, so that needs room to push up and down. But from there we can actually take the signal over and we're going to go down here so we miss this part. We don't want to connect to that, like that, and then we're going to go straight across to here. We're going to put one more repeater here and we're going to go up like this. Okay, now as you can see this is powered, so it means the system is full, and that powers this line, which actually powers these pistons and stops them from pulsing. So now if I turn this on, it will pulse, but these guys won't, so that's not moving, which is good. Now we also want to, now we've disabled those 2 pistons, we also want to disable this one so it doesn't make a huge amount of noise as well. And so we're going to do that by putting redstone here and again using some slabs, and we're going to carry the signal this way and we're going to go up to this block here. Like that. So now this one is disabled as well. You can see it's not moving at all because the TNT is full. There's no more room left, so it's not going to pump. Alright, so one more thing we need to do here is, now that this is all powered, this piston here is extended, and that's fine at the moment, and when we turn this on and off the piston doesn't work there, which is fine. But when we have this up, this block is pushed back into place to cover the hole, and as soon as this becomes unpowered, this piston's going to retract and it's going to pull that cover block away and push it down into the cycle, and we don't want that to happen. So we actually need to stop this guy coming up until this piston has retracted. So to do that, we're also going to take power from this part and we're going to bring it just around here, and we're actually going to turn the clock back on. So here we're going to set this to 2 ticks and put some redstone around here, and now this clock is going to actually turn back on, but it's okay because it's being powered directly, so it doesn't have any effect on these 2 pistons. And now when we do this, this will actually stay down until it's ready to retract this piston so we don't get it clogged up. Okay, so another safety precaution here. When this hopper here is empty of ender pearls, we don't want this snow to be removed as well. Now there is a possibility that before this line here can disable these pistons, you're actually able to put another piece of TNT in, and you're actually able to activate this one more time. So there is a possibility that you could accidentally take a piece of snow out of here and put it into this one, which would sort of screw things up. So we want to make sure that before you can do that, this is locked off so that you can't accidentally remove some snow. So the way we do that is by putting a block here, and we want to basically power that hopper always, so even if this torch accidentally gets turned off, it's still powered, so therefore the hopper won't let any items out. So we put a block there, block here, and we'll put a repeater here, and we'll take this block over and we'll step up one so we don't interfere with this wire, and we'll go across, and then we'll actually take this signal from here over the top and back down. There we go. So now that is always powered, and you'll see 22 blocks of snow. If I break that torch, there's still 22 blocks of snow, so that way it's not going to affect it. Alright, another possibility here is that when the TNT is pushed into the system, there could be a block sitting here and a block sitting here already, and if the TNT pushes from this end, push it down this aisle, that's two blocks that didn't go past this. So it won't actually let it push that row up until two more blocks go in. For this reason, what we're going to do is just make a quick little reset switch here, and that's what this button is for. So the button is going to power a block here with a repeater, and underneath we're going to take that signal out, and we're going to go down here, like that, and then we're going to go to that block there, and we're just going to fill that in as well, and we're going to put redstone here and link it back up to this system. So what that will do is, if ever this is blocked and it won't work for the first round, we can push this button, the signal will travel down here into this circuit, which is the circuit that will move an ender pearl. So generally it's just one that might be stuck, and so you only have to push it once. It will say, oh, okay, it's full, let's push up the rest of this row, and this will become unjammed and you can keep going with it. Okay, I've just noticed a small error here. This block here needs to be changed out. We need to put in a slab. The reason why is because when this system is turned on here, this signal is traveling down here, and it's actually affecting this, which can make it spit this out, and it will be constantly on. So if we use a slab, the signal can't travel downwards, it can only travel upwards, so that'll fix that. Alright, so I've just picked up one more error here. Just here we've got a repeater here, and it's only set to 1, and this is what happens, and that leads to irregular counts. So we actually need to set this to 2 and put the block back, and that should fix it. Okay, here we are with those few fixes. We're ready to test out the input side of things here. We've just emptied this hopper over here, emptied that one, put them all into here, so it now believes that the system is completely empty. I've also filled in this part with the lapis that I'm going to use to fill up as TNT, and when I was doing that I actually also disabled this wire here so that this didn't fire and screw up the counts. So I just packed a whole bunch of lapis into here up to that point there, and I'll put this back now, and we'll start up the pump head and see how we go. Alright, I'm just going to feed them into here. Okay, good. This is an example of why we need this button. Now when I filled up this lapis down here, I put a block of lapis in there, one there, and this was completely full. So as soon as I turned that on, the pump head on, and these two pistons started firing, I was already two blocks of lapis in. And now what has happened here is it's reached the end and it's got to this obsidian block that we put here, and it can't push any further, and as far as it's concerned this is full. But as far as the counter is concerned, we've only taken out the 6 pearls and we need 7 to make it think it's a new line. So to do that, all we have to do is push this button, and you can see it cleared the blockage, and all that did was it added one more. Well, it added 2 more because there was one stuck, but it added 1 more ender pearl here, which would unstick that thing, and now the one that was in there went down, and that's why there's 8, because it added another one. So now we can keep going back to filling it up. Small pause there while it pushed up the next row. And again. Okay, now that's stopped completely. So that must mean that it's full, and it is. So we've got the top row here, that's all full, and it goes all the way down. Down the bottom, under the glass, we can see that that's all full as well. And these guys are also full. So that means that the hopper will show nothing in this side and all of it in that side. So now this is completely full. Okay, so now we can turn this off, and you see it will stay there until we actually put through. This needed to be retracted because we hadn't set that up yet. But now it should actually send through a pulse, and that closes up, and here's our lapis block, which will actually be TNT, and we are right to go. So we will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and as you can see that all worked. It pushed a new row up and we're good to go again. So that's working so far, which is good. If you want to stop there, you can. I find it nicer just to have a few little note blocks that play while I do this thing, so I know exactly what's happening without having to come down and see what's going on down here. So I'm just going to put those in now, and that'll be it. We'll be done. Okay, the first set of note blocks I'm going to put in for when we push this button and a piece of TNT pops up. I want it to play a little sound. So there I'm going to put in some note blocks right here next to this redstone block. Okay, so now when I press the button, it makes that noise, which is a cool little noise for it. Alright, so that's that one. Next one I'm going to put is down here, and this one is going to tell me when the row has been pushed up. So we're just going to put one here as well. Alright, so now let's make that work. You can hear it there a little bit. I might just add another one just to make it a bit more pronounced there, or I might just delay this by a little bit. Yeah, that'll do. Alright, so that's that one. Let's put another one over here, and this can be like a little extra tone that plays when it's being pushed up. Okay, so we'll put this one here. Alright, so now that note block will only play when the TNT is being pushed up, and this note block will also play, but then when I'm filling it with TNT, only this note block will play. So that will just differentiate between the two of those. So let's just pump some more up here and check that out. Okay, you heard that little chime, so that's good. That means it pushed up a new row, so that's cool. I might also put one just here. And so when we turn on the TNT pump, we know that it's on. Just a little mess around thing there. Okay, next one is a cool one that I really like. It's so that when the system is empty, it makes like a little doo-doo-doo noise that tells you that it's completely empty. So we'll do that one now. Okay, so I've just added another little line here. There's 3 note blocks here, and it's connected to somewhat of an AND gate. There's a redstone line coming off this torch here, which is powered for this last pulse limiter, and it goes to this block, and now that powers this line, and also the button that we push comes down and also powers that block. Now if one of those is on, these ones won't play. Only when both are off and the button is pushed will these play, and that only happens when it's empty. So I've just got a couple more pushes left here, and we can hear what that sounds like. I've also put just one note block here. This note block plays when the sand is pushed over to the side, so that way I sort of know that I've only got one piece of TNT left to push through. So let's have a go of that. You hear that off note then? It just sounded because the sand was pushed over, and so that tells me I've only got one block left, which I do, and also that has now turned this torch off, which allows me to play these note blocks. So the last push will make the sound, and from then on it's not going to work. So it's empty. You can hear that note block playing. Alright guys, so that's the end of the tutorial. Hopefully you stayed along for the ride, and if you did, well done. Any questions or comments, leave them below, and hopefully you enjoyed this and have fun building your own. Thanks.